Carlos, the cancer researcher from California. Carlos and his Uncle Tom like to practice soccer every weekend. One day, Tom was not able to be with Carlos for their regular practice. He had to visit the hospital for a health checkup. He was coughing and feeling tired. "Hey, Dad, how is Uncle Tom doing?" asked Carlos. "He returned from the hospital today, son. His doctor said he has lung cancer." "Is that bad, Dad? Is it serious?" "What is cancer?" "Yeah, cancer is bad, and sometimes it is very serious. Cancer is unwanted cell growth, son." "What is a cell, Dad?" "Our bodies are made up of many small blocks called cells, trillions of them. You can think of the chicken egg as an example of one big cell. It has an outer shell that protects the egg white and the yellow yolk. The eggshell is like a membrane in a cell. It protects what's inside." "You know a lot about cells and cancer, Dad." "Yes, son. I am a cancer researcher. We study how cancer develops and try to find ways to stop it and cure it." "Can I see a human cell with my own eyes, Dad? Or can we use our magnifier to see one?" "Human cells are very small, son. We cannot see them without a microscope." "What's a microscope, Dad?" "A microscope is a tool, and its name is a combination of two words. Scope means to use an instrument to see something. Micro means small. So, to see something very small like a cell, we use a device that is designed to enable us to see small things, like human cells and bacteria. We use a telescope to see things that are very far away like stars, comets, and planets. Tele means far or at a distance. I thought our body was one piece, Dad. So, it's made up of many cells. It is one piece in a sense, son. However, it is made up of different parts, like our head, arms, legs, hands, and many other parts. Each of these parts are made up of many other smaller parts, like skin, blood vessels, bones, muscle, blood, and other things. We are born in one piece as babies. However, we started out as a single cell." "Single cell, Dad? I was a single cell before I was born?" "That is correct, son. All living beings start out as single cells. Then they begin dividing into more cells. And these new cells divide into even more cells, which would eventually form different body parts for a human, for example. So, some cells become a heart, others become arms, and others become legs, and so on. Who is telling these cells to divide or to be a heart, an eye, or an arm, Dad?" "It's our genes." "What are genes, Dad?" "Genes are part of something called DNA. They have the instructions on what the cell can be and do. They decide on what becomes an ear, and how many ears we have, and where do ears grow. So, is that why our ears grow on the side of our heads and not where our nose is, Dad?" "That's right, son. Everything in our body is decided by our DNA." "What is DNA, Dad?" "DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a long word, but easy to pronounce if you divide it into smaller pieces. You can say it like this: deoxyribonucleic acid. I prefer DNA, Dad. It's easier to say." "What does the DNA do, Dad?" "The DNA is like your instructions booklet that comes with the plastic toy blocks I buy for you. Some instructions show you how to build a model car, others show how to build a castle, or sometimes a boat. Each box of bricks has special pieces and instructions that will end up with a model of something. I love to build these toys, Dad. Now I understand how our body is built. It's like these small blocks that, when correctly connected according to the instructions, my toy car is built correctly, and I can play with it." "Exactly, son. So what happens when there is an error in the toy instructions?" "The model will not work, Dad. If you don't put the wheels where they should be, the car will not move." That is exactly what happened to Uncle Tom, son. His cells decided to divide in ways healthy cells will not, and continued growing without control. That is called cancer. How can cells grow without control, Dad? Do you recall the toy blocks you used to build your car, boat, house, castle, bike, and dinosaur models? Yes, Dad. Each model comes in its own box, and with its own instructions booklet. Exactly, son. However, suppose you decided to ignore all the instruction booklets that came in the boxes, and just started putting blocks together without any plan or model in mind. What will the result be? Just connecting blocks randomly, Dad? I think I will have a pile of nonsense. They will look like a strange lump of blocks that I cannot play with. That is exactly what cancer is, son. It is cells that grow without a plan or purpose, invade other parts of the body, and make people sick. Is that what happened to Uncle Tom, Dad? Uncle Tom looks healthy, and he runs every day. So it seems, son, however, his smoking habit is not helpful. When harmful substances are inhaled or ingested, they can result in bad things like cancer or illness. Some of his DNA cells got damaged and resulted in unwanted growth. What can cause damage to DNA, Dad? It's so small that we cannot see it with our bare eyes. Many things can damage the DNA. Smoking can introduce bad chemicals to the body that can damage the DNA and cause gene mutations or changes in instructions. Radiation can also cause gene mutations. It's like when the person writing the block toy instruction booklet got distracted and wrote the wrong instructions. When you receive the toy and the booklet, and you follow these wrong instructions, the toy will not look right. I learned in school that the human body can defend itself from diseases, Dad. Why can't our body defend itself from cancer? It can and it does all the time, son. However, cancer cells play tricks on the human body defense system, also called the immune system. That is why cancer is not easy to treat. What kind of tricks, Dad? Cancer cells decide to grow on their own, without listening to DNA instructions. Sometimes they decide to go to other parts of the body and grow there. They play hide and seek with the body immune system, and even steal food from the body. Steal food, Dad? They are inside the body. How can they steal food? Cancer cells can order blood vessels to grow inside a tumor, give it food, and take its waste. They are like thieves who come inside a house, occupy it, and start ordering food delivery. But Dad, won't the house owners fight back? They will try, son. They will even call the cops, which in this case are the doctors and cancer researchers, to help fight these invaders and kick them out. Sometimes we succeed and cancer goes away, and other times we don't. Can cancer be treated, Dad? In many cases, yes. It depends on many things, like when the cancer was discovered. Did it spread in the body, or is it in one place? And how bad is the tumor? Sometimes surgery is required, so the cancerous growth is removed from the body. Other times chemicals are used to attack and destroy cancer cells, or stop their spread. Other treatments target the cancer cells directly with radiation. Radiation? Didn't you just say it causes cancer, Dad? When radiation is used properly, it helps cure cancer, son. Uncontrolled radiation from radioactive material is harmful. But cancer cells grow because of damaged DNA, Dad. Why are we damaging DNA again? You remembered, son? Yes, cancer cells result from damaged genes, or parts of the DNA. However, these cancer cells have their own DNA, which is giving the wrong instructions to these cells to keep growing. So, radiation therapy targets the cancer DNA and destroys it, so it stops telling cancer cells to grow, and the cancer stops. Do these treatments hurt, Dad? Some of them have what is called side effects. They can cause tiredness, nausea, headaches, or other effects. Treatment takes a long time. It doesn't happen instantly, and getting cured can take months or more. We are still doing our best as cancer researchers to find the best and fastest cancer cure. Carlos learned a lot from his dad about cancer. That night, he had a dream. He woke his dad in the morning to tell him what he saw. "Dad, I had a dream last night. What was it about, son? I became a cancer researcher. I learned how cells grow and become cancerous. I worked with my friends to find a cure. Did you find any cures, Carlos? Yes, Dad. We were able to make the cure fast and painless. But before the cure, we made a program that works with a watch which monitors a person's health. If it detects any cell growth that is not permitted or not normal, it will let the people and their doctors know right away. So what was the cure, son? It is a pill that is cheap and available everywhere. It connects directly with the bad gene and fixes it. Bad cell growth stops immediately. If there is a tumor, it goes away in a week. When the watch and the program work together with the pill, there will be no tumors at all, Dad. Amazing dream, son. Hope it happens one day, and it becomes easy and fast to treat cancer. I hope you become a successful cancer researcher, son. Hope so too, Dad. Can't wait.